What's going on, guys? It is Corey and
Aaron
with Colorado Cold Bloods. So we have another clutch update for you guys. This one is clutch number 4. Clutch number 4 is a fun one for us. Anybody who stuck around for a little while knows that we love Blackhead around here. So yeah.
I really love Blackhead.
You do? So this particular clutch, we wanted to dabble a little bit more with Blackhead and Pied. So we have a visual male that is Blackhead Pied. He went to our female, one of our original girls that we produced, and that is Sapphire. Sapphire is a pastel 100% het for Pied. So we wanted to see a little bit more of the Blackhead Pied and obviously pastel Blackhead Pied. That was the goal. So with that particular clutch, we did get a little bit of a surprise in this clutch, so kind of cool. You'll get to see it. You know, the standard, we weren't quite prepared for it kind of scenario, but this one's a pretty minor surprise, but it's still cool nonetheless.
Still cool. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it this round. No t-shirt shout-outs this round, but I think we'll have another one or two coming soon.
You're technically wearing one.
Yeah, I mean, we've done this one before. This ARS caging. All of our racks around here, with the exception of some of our PVC racks, are ARS. So.
And mine's just a shirt I just bought. So yeah, I didn't get the memo. My bad.
Can't take you anywhere.
It's fine.
But anyway, with that, hopefully you guys enjoy this clutch. You know, Pied's a fun thing to hatch around here anyway. Pied's just a cool genetic on its own, right? So hard to beat even a standard Pied. But yeah, this is a fun clutch to check out. So alrighty, well, let's hop into it. We will see you soon. What's going on, guys? This is Corey with Colorado Cold Bloods, and we have clutch number 4 for you. So this is a clutch update. So this was our male Blackhead Pied to our original girl Sapphire, who is a pastel het for Pied. A fun fact about her: she is the very first production that we had here at CCB, and on top of that, she also happened to land on my birthday when she was hatched. So she's special in 2 ways for us: very first animal, and on top of that, on my birthday. So couldn't ask for a better birthday present to kick things off and get CCB rolling. So anyway, with that, gets most of the fun facts out of the way. Let's go ahead and jump into this clutch. I think it's a pretty cool clutch. We do have a slight surprise in here as well. So yeah, you'll have to let us know what you think. This is dealing with Pied, so that being said, you'll have a lot of theoretical ideas out of me. And with that, I'm going to jump right in. Don't get too judgy on me. But we don't do a lot of Pied, but on top of that, when you have a lot of white, it makes it real hard to ID. So, number 1, look at that. We have a normal het Pied. So, I know that's everybody's exciting start to the clutch. They want to make sure they check out these normals and go from there, but no, it's a pretty normal. Het Pied does have some nice interaction as far as, or reaction in general. You get a little bit brighter animal and everything like that. In this case, let's see, we do have a little bit of your het Pied track marks. So very, very cool. So anyway, just something to be aware of when you're working with Pied. So from there, that was actually the only normal we got in the clutch. So from that, we're going to jump up a next step. And I think this one actually turned out really cool, regardless of what everybody's opinions are on pastel with Blackhead. But this is a pastel Blackhead, 100% het for Pied. I like how this animal turned out. I think in certain ways pastel does good with Blackhead because it kind of creates a little bit more contrast in a lot of areas. If you have a nice pastel, I should say, it does have that impact. But you can definitely see the difference between a pastel and a Blackhead pastel. This is a nice reaction on the animal. I think it's a pretty animal. I don't know, there are certain things I think that it does well, but I can understand where everybody's other reactions come from. I love the way this belly reacts down here with that het Pied too, kind of working that extra blushing, nice highlights around there. Almost kind of has that, the amber effect that you get with the Mojave stuff. Obviously much darker with the Blackhead, but okay, so from there we will jump over to, how about we get you a pied. So we have a regular pied here. There's no pastel or, from what I can tell, Blackhead. So I'll kind of give the description as to why in a little bit here, but generally this is just what a standard pied looks like, and by that it's a medium to low white. I think it's a very, very pretty animal. The oranges on this animal are phenomenal. Very, very nice. There's no yellow belly in this pairing, so it's not a pumpkin pied. This is just a straight pied. So, and I should say, as far as we can tell, plus on top of that, truthfully, I don't see a lot of the pixelation and stuff like that that comes with the yellow belly on this, so I really don't think it is. I think it's just nice orange pied. So, all right, so from here, we jump over to the pastel pied. So, pastel versus pied. So you can see the difference between the two very easily. The colors there, the blushing on the head, very, very different. On top of that, so what happens oftentimes with your pastel in your pied, you tend to get a lot of these kind of gray tones and things like that in here. Obviously you see the color brightening and everything, but it also does kind of blow up the pattern significantly in a lot of them. It's just kind of a reaction that pastel can have on some things. Sometimes it kind of cleans up a little bit, and other times pastel just kind of goes crazy, and that's where you used to hear the term like pastel jungles and stuff like that, because they used to kind of blow up the pattern a good bit. But gorgeous little pastel pied. I love what it's done. It's a nice low white pied. You only have a little bit towards the tail here on the whites, and on top of that, you get to see all this extra pattern. So gorgeous baby. All right. So the next ones, here is where the surprise comes in. So this is a super pastel het for pied. So what that means is the male that we had, the Blackhead pied, he is also pastel. That makes a little bit more sense to me, to be honest, looking at him. I always felt he was a little bit bright for just a Blackhead pied. The colors seemed a little bit different. He looks very similar to a Mojave pied in the sense that any of his saddles are just very much yellow toned with a bit of black outlining. But he is now officially a Blackhead pastel pied. And we have a gorgeous super pastel het for pied. Now, very next one right away, we have another super pastel het for pied. So you can see a little bit of difference between these two. This one's pattern is very, very busy in comparison to the other. That one's very banded. This one is much more kind of wild. So again, it goes back to what I mentioned about the pastel jungles, right? Pastel can vary a bit on the pattern, and it can kind of go wild if you have a nice line of pastel work in there. Oops, and catch. So, beautiful baby. Got crazy head blushing. That's also why when you look at the pastel pied, you can tell this is not a super pastel pied. You can tell the difference between the blushing levels. Hopefully you can see between those. So, no blushing. Some blushing right in here, there. And then lots of blushing. So that's your big difference here. So then from there we jump over to our Blackhead pied. Gorgeous Blackhead pied. Love what it's kind of done here. It's created these nice empty saddles, which we kind of noted on the father. The difference is, on the father, this is very, very yellow. And obviously you've got no blushing on this. There's no yellow to those saddles. You've got that extra black kind of sitting around the edging here. That's something that we do see on the actual animal, the father themselves. But that is a Blackhead pied. So very neat. It's a different look, right? You get a little bit of that kind of Mojave pied kind of look like we mentioned, but it's much deeper, darker browns here. And you kind of get a weird pixelation on his neck, so this, his or hers. So that's kind of an interesting little reaction that we've got there. All right. Okay, so the next one we have is a Super Pastel Pied. I don't believe this one is going to be Blackhead. So again, these are just my guesstimations. The Blackhead would definitely be something that would reduce the patterning down to only a couple saddles. You've got a little bit by the tail, up by the neck here. But you'll also notice these eye stripes are pretty large in comparison. If I bring down this boy here, or him or her, I really haven't checked yet, you can see how thin those eye bandings are in comparison to those. So very, very different. So that's why I don't think that the Blackhead is in this particular animal. I think it's just a very nice Super Pastel Pied. You can tell based upon that head blushing very significantly. That is definitely a Super Pastel. So, alrighty. And last but not least, we have another Super Pastel Pied-ish. I say that because this one looks very, very different, right? It's definitely Super Pastel Pied. I don't know if there's Blackhead in here. Again, these eye bandings, they're a little bit wider. You have a similar reaction on the neck back here, where it's nice and connected. That's probably the Pied working, but in general, you've got a lot of these burnt oranges going on. I love those extra colors, that tail pattern. You've got a little bit of the ghost face or something like that going on that little tail pattern. We catch the other little runners back here. They're all hungry and ready to go. They haven't eaten yet. They're about ready to get separated out. So, but yeah, so you've got some pretty cool stuff. This may or may not have Blackhead. Again, you know, Pied does some tricky things, so it's very possible, but maybe the pastel's really kind of blowing it up even more. I love this saddle. There's just something about those different tones of orange. It's like a rust. Absolutely a rust colored orange there. Rusty red. So very, very neat animal. So, excuse me. So with that, definitely appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let us know which ones you were your favorites out of this clutch. We have quite a variety here, from the normals all the way to the Super Pastel Pieds and Blackhead Pied, everything like that. There's a lot of variety here. That's one of the things we love about hatching these clutches, right? Is it shows that one singular pairing can do so much. But with that, next week, that's a big one. Clutch number 5 can be possibly the biggest clutch in CCB history at this point in time. So definitely keep an eye out for that. We're looking forward to checking out what we got there. And that's again only clutch 5. We have a total of 15 clutches this year so far. Other than clutch 5, another 10 to go. So we're just warming up here. So anyway, with that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We appreciate every one of you, and we will see you guys next week.